Hey guys, and there has been a lot of speculation about the Switch 2, but one thing that I've mentioned before that I wanted to talk more in depth about is a social network-like service for the Switch 2. I think this makes a lot of sense, and I think there's actually a decent chance that this could happen. But before we get started, I wanted to mention that I have a goal to hit 30,000 subscribers before the Switch 2 launches, so if you enjoy my content, consider subscribing. And if I hit that goal, I will give away a copy of the new Mario Kart game. But I think a social networking app makes quite a lot of sense. Nintendo has been doing a lot of quality of life services lately, like Alarmo and Nintendo Music, so I think they would probably continue that into the Switch 2 era. Like, it seems kind of interesting that they're doing a lot of this stuff very late in the Switch era, so I think they'll definitely continue it. And then there's also been a lot of patents and leaks that have hinted information about some kind of social network service, or at least something building off of Nintendo Switch Online, or services that they already have. So I definitely think there's going to be something, because of all of this coming out. And then there's also the speculation about the C button as well, with the fact that it could possibly mean connect or chat. Like, that's definitely another thing that could lead to this being some kind of social thing. And then there's also the fact that they're adding more profile icon variety with NSO icons. Ever since 2022, they've been adding the icons on there, which is pretty interesting and would make a lot of sense if they were going to do some kind of, like, social app down the line. So, like, a lot of people would have different profile pictures based on different games. And then there's also the mouse functionality with the Switch 2 that would make a social networking app a bit easier to navigate on the console itself, so there doesn't have to be a smartphone app. Well, I do think there probably is going to be one for whatever this is going to be if it happens. At least it could still be integrated onto the console without it being too clunky. And then it also seems like Nintendo's next logical step after focusing on the multiplayer element of the Switch, since they have been adding like little things here and there, like a very shallow achievement system with Nintendo Switch Online, which could be expanded upon, or the invite system, which will actually come into play later in this video when I mention one of my ideas, and different things like that. It does seem like they've slowly been building up to something like this. And then there's also the online playtest as well, which did have like a lot of like social features mixed in as well from what I've heard. But I think there are two possibilities of what social networking app could be alongside the Switch 2. Either a Miiverse-like social app, or I guess, like, by extension, like Twitter or Blue Sky, or any, like, other thing, or Reddit even, just like an actual, like, social media service, kind of like that, kind of maybe like a Miiverse revival, almost. And the other idea I have is a Discord-like app, and that one I think is actually more likely. But the first one I'll kind of talk about here is like the Miiverse-like option. And I think that would make sense, even though it's less likely, since Nintendo removed the video and screenshot sharing through Twitter because of how high the API costs were getting. That's more on Twitter's side with why that got removed, not necessarily Nintendo. But that feature was a really good way to promote their games. And now they don't have that anymore. I mean, sure, you could do it through Facebook, but Facebook is not necessarily as popular for that kind of posting. So I don't really think they are getting that much traction out of that feature anymore. So I think a app like that would make a lot of sense. Like, and there's also the fact that apps like Twitter and Reddit are becoming pretty overwhelming or too toxic for some people. So some people may want to join an app that's more centered around Nintendo discussion. I'm not referring to everyone, I'm talking about like more like casual users, I guess. Like, not everyone wants to get into like this like heavy fandom discussion on certain websites. They'd rather possibly use like Nintendo's own app or something like that. And there's also the fact that they could create like a smartphone app for the service, like I already mentioned. And they could also even expand the things that you could do. Maybe you could like edit screenshots and things, or maybe allow you to like record longer videos as well, like up to 3 or 5 minutes. I don't really see Nintendo allowing you to record beyond that, but I could see them allowing like slightly longer recordings, especially if the Switch 2 has more storage than the Switch 1. I think that was mostly why the Switch 1 only allowed you to record for 30 seconds, because like of course the original model only had 32 gigabytes of storage. So with the Switch 2 quite possibly having a larger storage capacity, I could see them allowing like slightly longer recordings. They could also have like a proper achievement system as well and kind of bake it into this app where they could give you like badges and things for your account, like little name things. Like kind of like how I think Mario Party does this, where you could it's either Mario Party or like another game. I know some Nintendo games let you do this, where whenever you get an achievement, like one of the in-game achievements, they let you like use it as your title. Yeah, you could do it in Jamboree. Like you could like make it your title. I think it would be cool if there were like thousands of different achievements for a ton of different games across the Switch 2 that allows you to have like certain achievements and things. I think that would be pretty cool. The other idea I have is a Discord-like app, and I think this makes much more sense. And I think this is the more likely option. Well, I don't think Nintendo would be opposed to creating a whole new social media app. It seems like they have less incentive to. Like, even though a lot of social media services are kind of getting a bit crazy nowadays, I don't think it's kind of getting to the point where Nintendo would have to create their own, or would have much incentive to create their own. I mean, sure, they still might, but there's always the chance that it might not be successful, and they could put a bunch of resources into it, and it doesn't really go anywhere. Because, I mean, while Miiverse was cool, like, it ended up getting shut down after a few years, and while it was kind of popular, it wasn't, like, huge or anything. It didn't, like, blow up that much. So, I think, like, a smaller chat service like Discord makes a lot of sense. And also because there is Discord support on other consoles. And it seems like Nintendo would like to follow this trend. But they wouldn't want to do Discord itself. They would want to do their own app, similar to Discord. Because Nintendo usually likes to do their own thing, and kind of basically design it in their own ways. But they wouldn't be opposed to having a similar service. So it's probably going to be like Nintendo's Discord. And voice chat is actually kind of has some patents that are suggesting that it will be integrated into the OS. So it is very possible that that will be the case. Like, Nintendo might sell like external mics that you could plug in, like maybe through that second like USB-C port that they have. That's possible. We'll just have to see with how this console is shaping up to be and everything. But voice chat integration is very nice. And it would also be nice, I mean, obviously this would be the case, but you'd be able to chat with people in-game and everything. And if they did that, it would show that they've learned from their barely functional Nintendo Switch Online app, which basically no one is using. Like, John Cartwright on Good Vibes Gaming made a video about that recently, and there's like no one using the voice chat function on the Nintendo Switch Online smartphone app. So that definitely gives a lot of incentive for Nintendo to kind of build some voice chat service into the Switch, or the Switch 2 itself. And they could even expand the concept of the Switch's invite system and allow everyone to join a game at the same time. Like, kind of have that within like little chat rooms where you could send like, oh, I'm playing Splatoon 4 now, and then everyone can jump into a game. Or like Mario Kart 9 or whatever. Or Xenoblade X if it supports Switch 1 games. I think that would be really nice, and would definitely be very convenient. They could kind of expand upon that invite system that they already had. And I feel like that invite system is already kind of like alluding to the fact that Nintendo might do something like this as well. And there could also still be like small communities, or like little chat communities based on games, kind of similar to how Miiverse had, but it's more of like a chat room rather than an actual social media service. And you would also be able to create your own group chats and obviously like chat with people like with text. like via like direct message as well. But group chats are also a possibility. They'll probably have some kind of auto moderation service in place because of like some of the issues with Nintendo's past services they've had. But nowadays, I feel like it's much like they could probably incorporate moderation much better, so where it's not like too strict. Like they could maybe like have different settings for like people and everything, but at the same time, it still would be kind of restrictive, because it's Nintendo after all. And they might even allow you to like share photos or videos with people as well, still kind of incorporating that photo and video share feature and everything. And that might even be nice for like the little chat rooms that I was mentioning based on different games. I mean, I guess they would be big chat rooms since like there would be a lot of people joining them. Maybe there'd be like different rooms that you could like enter for different ones where you could talk to different people like about games and things. I don't know, they might do something like that. It might even be a mixture of the two ideas that I had. Like maybe they do have like some elements of like a proper like social media type thing where you can post and can do some things like Miiverse, but it's also heavily centered around the chat feature and like voice chat and like group chats and different things like that. It's kind of centered around that as well. I could possibly see something like that, but I think whatever it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be closer to Discord, I would say. Like, it just makes a lot of sense. It's a trend that Nintendo will probably hop onto and make their own version of. And just with all these patents, rumors, and just various things, and also just the fact that Nintendo has been kind of inching towards this in general with Nintendo Switch Online, I could see this happening, like a Discord-like service for the Switch 2. But there's also the element of whether it's going to be compatible with, like, well, if you're going to be able to use it if you have Nintendo Switch Online, or if you don't have Nintendo Switch Online, or it's like kind of locked in Nintendo Switch Online. I'm not sure. It kind of seems like they would basically lock it to Nintendo Switch Online, but at the same time, they might make it to where you could use some elements of it without Nintendo Switch Online, like maybe like chatting with people, and then in order to use like voice chat or something, or like chat with people in game, or like do the invite thing, then maybe they would have to like kind of lock that behind Nintendo Switch Online. I mean, I guess it makes sense, because you wouldn't be able to play the games online anyway if you didn't have Nintendo Switch Online, but if Nintendo wants to make it like a thriving service, then maybe they'll allow like some features for people without Nintendo Switch Online. I don't know. But we'll have to see. But if it is like a Miiverse-like app and it's kind of leaning towards that, then I don't think they would like lock it to Nintendo Switch Online. They'd only like give you like a certain feature, like maybe give you like premium features if you have Nintendo Switch Online. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!